don't know.
Anthony, have you checked all your answers? See if you got all of them right, or whether you need to ask a question?
Birmingham.
Yeah, that's what I put. Number 11, I put discrete.
Why would it be discrete?
I don't know.
Because it could be continuous.
What about number 11 though? There's a specific reason why you could say continuous or discrete in this case.
Because you have to count
Okay,
to
so
17.
yeah, if you're talking about those trees, you could be counting the trees, which is why I could see someone saying discrete. However, can you have part of a tree?
Firewood.
Okay, firewood. You can cut down half the tree, leave the other half up.
Well,
Talking about a ton of paper, can you have part of a ton of paper?
no.
You can't have half a ton?
Oh yeah, you can.
Quarter of a ton?
3/4 of a ton?
3/4 of a ton? So can you get part of a ton of paper?
Yes.
Yes. Also, this idea of a ton here, are you going to count the ton or are you going to measure it?
You're gonna weigh it.
So measure.
Yes.
Right? You're not going to count the ton, you're going to measure it. That is why, even though I'd say, depends on how you justify it, it could be discrete, I would argue that continuous is better there.
Oops.
Notice that justification side of things. In the way that Caroline said, hey, you're going to count those trees, I would have actually accepted that for either a 4.5 or a 5 out of 6 on that grading rubric. Those are things you need to pay attention to. However, you have to justify it. That is why your justification is super, super important. Any of these other ones that we want to talk about before we move on?
I gotta pick up root beers before I go home.
Cool story, bro. But we're studying math right now.
I'm gonna get 2 12 packs. That equals 24. We're good.
What math questions do you have? Going once, going twice. Sold.
None.
Beautiful. Alright, so we should already have our vocabulary out so that we can go through this. And then we're going to start, 2.2, please be discrete. By the way, I do want y'all to notice this idea of discrete, D-I-S-C-R-E-T-E, that's what we've been talking about with those isolated points, things like that. Does anyone know what this discrete means? Why it's a play on words?
Naughty.
No, that'd be a weird thing to have in a math curriculum talking about naughty things. That's just why you gotta make it this way. Alright? Have we never heard the word discrete before?
I
I've
have.
heard it.
Just not sure what it means?
I thought
Quiet.
you said not. Please.
Not noticeable.
Please.
So just something that's discrete is on the sly, it's not noticeable.
Like a cat.
If it's saying shh, please be discreet, you're trying to be quiet and not obnoxious, you're trying to not
Go
be noticed.
unnoticed.
That's what I meant by not.
Like a panther.
Okay. Alright, so let's talk about this vocab. So here's something I want you to understand. This vocab is quite possibly one of my favorite things that I've done. I know that this may not be super exciting for you. However, the reason why I keep doing the vocab this way, and you will have it all year, is because this is your study guide. First off, we always want to be thinking about connections to prior learning, things that we've learned before, or connections to the real world that we can make with arithmetic, with each of these words. We should have a personal understanding of what these things mean based on the task that we've done. And then we also want to have examples or notes and connections within the unit so we can understand the material a little bit better. And then we will, and that's all I'm asking you to do on your own, we'll go over the proper definitions together. Real talk, who has the vocab done? Caroline? No, Anthony has it done. Anthony's the only person, is that right?
Yeah, Caroline don't work.
Cool. So all of y'all currently have what for the vocab?
A
0.
0. If we go over the vocab today, is there any way for you to earn higher than a 0?
Yes.
We ain't gonna go, don't go.
Don't go over it.
Don't.
So that means you're gonna get it done tonight. I'm not gonna let you earn full credit, but you're gonna get it done tonight,
I won't
right?
be here
All
tomorrow.
these?
Why not?
I'm going to a funeral.
Okay, will you be here Friday?
So out of state.
Then I guess you're gonna get a 0 for this.
Give me a 0 for them.
Everyone else,
Front page.
just that first page, just
Not missing
these
anything.
4 words.
Fine.
How about this, Gavin? If you can get it done, take a picture of it and send it to me via email or Schoology, I will let that count as credit for you.
Okay,
Is that fair?
it's fair.
Cool. Thank you for letting me know you want me to be here so I could find an alternative. Alright. We need to have this done. And Gavin, you do need to get it to me before the end of the school day tomorrow because I will upload a video which will have these defined if everyone's gotten their stuff done. And then you could have just copied it down, so that wouldn't be fair to everyone. So I need you to get it to me before the end of school tomorrow.
Okay.
We all clear on that? We all know that we're getting this vocab done tonight, right, Jeffrey? Yeah? Caroline? McKay?
See,
Zay?
Can I go and set a reminder?
Yeah, go ahead and set a reminder on your phone. Anyone else want to set a reminder on their phone really quickly so that we don't forget to do vocab? On delay, quickly, move, move, move.
Hey Siri. Set an alarm for 9 o'clock. No. Hey Siri. 8 o'clock, get time to do homework.
Okay, but I would probably name it whatever the homework is.
Yeah, exactly.
Set an alarm for Mr. Kenny's homework at 8 o'clock or whatever.
vocab.
Vocab, well, you're also gonna have other homework too.
Um,
It's the downside of, not completing the homework you were supposed to.
so true.
Starts piling up on you.
Yay. Is your thing recorded?
Do what? What did you just ask?
The first thing, if his thing was recording.
I said, is your thing recorded?
Yes, it is recording for the students at home.
Yeah. I made sure to put a mask on there.
A videographer.
A what?
Videographer.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
What is?
Nothing, never mind.
Okay.
She said a videographer.
All right. Caroline, can you read our first objective for us today?
Yeah, I can pronounce all this. Okay. I can identify the domain of functions with the additive rate of change and multiplicative rates of change.
What type of functions have additive rates of change?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic
Linear.
sequences and linear functions, right? What type of functions have multiplicative rates of change?
Exponential.
Exponential functions and
Geometry.
geometric sequences. We need to know those details, right? And if we're talking about domain, what do we mean by domain?
Didn't we write it down? The set, is it that thing?
It is a part of the set,
The
yep.
set of X when,
So that's how we write the notation for it. But notice what you said, the set of X, right? Your X variable, your independent variable. It's just the values for your independent variable. That's what domain is.
I've just seen that too.
Yep. What are the two different notations we can have for the domain?
Interval.
Interval and
Set.
set. Caroline, you were right there originally. We can do interval notation, we can do set notation. Please remember what I told you yesterday. For the rest of this unit, you should have 2.1 out so that you can reference it, or at least for the first 2 or 3 lessons. Because everything you made notes about with the domain, with set notation, interval notation, whole numbers, natural numbers, you might need to use all that to help you here. All right, Zay, can you read our second objective today?
Can you say a different word?
Differentiate.
I ain't gonna be able to say it.
Yes, you can. It's differentiate.
I can
Differentiate.
I can differentiate
There you go.
arithmetic sequences from linear functions to geometric sequences from exponential functions.
So what makes something a sequence rather than a linear or exponential function? Sequences are always
What's it called? Discrete.
discrete, while the linear and exponential functions are going to be, what's the opposite of discrete?
I'm thinking.
Obnoxious.
continuous.
Continuous, thank you. Alright, So number one, this is where we're going to get started here. You're working with each other. We need to move through this as quickly as possible, but talking and figuring these things out. The Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. is considered the largest library in the world. They often receive books or boxes of books to be added to their collection. Since books can be quite heavy, they aren't shipped in big boxes. On average, each box contains about 8 books. How many books are received by the library in 6 boxes, 10 boxes, or in boxes? Notice they're asking you to make a table, a graph, and an equation to model this situation. And then after that, identify the domain of this function. Talk with your group. This is going to be a great time for you to figure out how to write equations if you did not master that skill last unit. So let's get to work.